Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be reviewing the season finale of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 1 Episode 10. There's a whole lot to say. Before we get started, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and let's get into this video. If I have glare, I apologize. But I just got done watching the episode, and it was so much going on. I think they did a really good job continuing the Power name. I am actually excited to see the other iterations of Power. I feel like they did a great job kind of ending on a high note and making us want to continue to watch it. It's in the same realm but a whole different storyline, which makes us more energized to watch it. It's like we're getting the show but not really. So okay, let's just start from the beginning. So we get Mary meeting up with Rico. Rico's over there, he eating his sushi. First of all, I'm confused as to Rico is supposed to be the big connect. Where are all of his people? Where are his henchmen? He has one guy with him who easily got knocked off, as we saw. Mary shot Rico, took him out. He's a problem. He shot her son. He had to go. But this is going to leave her messed up. Where are you going to get your product from? You legit just shot your... That's like Ghost shooting Lobos. Wait, that happened, huh? Anyway, Mary proved herself to be a badass throughout this whole episode. But let's keep going. So right after Monet kills Rico, her and her guy, whatever, they're calling Ramirez because Ramirez is their guy on the inside. He has to help take care of the body and make sure that nothing falls back on them. But while she's calling them, Kane is getting rid of Ramirez's body. Kane just ain't think. He sees it. He trashes the phone, and he drops Ramirez down in the river somewhere with cinder blocks. His body, he said later on in the episode, is gone like R. Kelly and ain't never coming back. Meanwhile, we see Tariq getting ready to leave campus and go to court. We already know he has been subpoenaed. He runs into Lauren. She lets him know that class is canceled because the professors who are in everybody's freaking business are doing interviews. They got a lead that something happened with the basketball players, and so they're trying to look into that lead more. While she's telling him this, Tariq realizes that the basketball boo was walking in there with Jumanji and Professor Carey. Lauren offers to go to the trial with him. He declines and says he has to do it on his own. So meanwhile, in the room with basketball boo and the professors that are in everybody's business, while he's telling the story, Jumanji is really digging into him, trying to, he keeps asking, well, were y'all the only ones there? And he's like, well, Zeke was there. Okay, well then what happened? Well then the gun. Well, how did the gun not get shot? Who stopped him? Then the more Jabari is really baiting him into answering more questions, and basketball boo is leading into it. Meanwhile, while he's leading into it, Carrie's over there giving him faces to the point where he starts to kind of catch on, and now she's leading him. She goes, well, you were really drunk, weren't you? I mean, you had how many drinks? He's like, I had 6 or 7 drinks. But during this time, Drew's name is brought up, and so now that has Jamiroquai's ears a-buzzing. All I know is basketball boo done fucked up. Okay, he has let it be known that the Tejada family is kind of involved in some way, at least in Jumanji's eyes. Carrie already knows this, and she's trying to cover her tracks because she is scared of Monet, and she realized she fucked up last episode when she told the police. After this interview, they head back to their office, and who's waiting for Professor Carey? None other than Zeke, and he kind of, it's like, can I talk to you? And she's like, yeah, let's go ahead and go into the office. And he kind of grabs her arm. And of course, Jumanji realizes it. And he kind of clocks that a little bit. So while they're in the office, Zeke is scared. You know, he doesn't want to be involved in any of this. He sees that his teammates are getting pulled in. She does not know how deep the rabbit hole goes with his family. And he is legitimately scared. But Professor Carey says, I'm going to ride or die, baby. I'm going to make sure that we don't have any of this fall back on y'all. And she proceeds to kiss him. I'm sitting up here like, girl, it's office hours. Anything can happen. Are your blinds closed? Carrie's stupid. Meanwhile, in the office, Jungle Jim is looking at the different pictures from the game, and he notices that Tariq was actually sitting with the Tejada family, and it just further makes him connect the dots. Across town, we see Kane going to the hospital to visit Drew. You know, Kane said, you know, no matter what, he's going to make sure he visits his brother. And during this exchange, Drew is really cold and just like, you know what, you keep messing up. And we end up finding out, or Drew ends up finding out, that Kane got rid of Ramirez. And it's at this point that Drew was like, I'm done with you. You know, you don't think, and you keep messing yourself up for the family, which is what we've been saying the entire time. So back across the town, we see Tariq is in court, and y'all, this court scene was everything for me. I was like, it was like a fine wine. Like, it was so good. So they bring Tariq up. I'm sorry, I'm excited. They bring Tariq up to the stand, and Sax begins to ask, you know, has your father ever hit your mother in front of you? He says no. Were you at Truth? Tariq's like, yes, I was there. You know, I might have been there for about an hour. You know, shook a couple hands, kissed a couple babies, you know. And then Sax goes in to start asking the hard questions. Sax is like, were you there at 11 o'clock with your mom? And Tariq goes, well, I wasn't. I didn't see my mom, but I did see you with a gun. Sax like, wait, that's not the question. No. Now you got the judge's ears are percolating. And he goes, well, Judge, make him answer my questions. Okay, well, you know, I want to know what's going on, but answer the question. So then they continue on, and he continues to ask, were you and your mother there? And we see a flashback of him and his mother there. And then Tariq begins to give it, well, you know, I was drugged, and I was at my father's grave. How did you know I was going to be there? You sent someone to follow me. You drugged me. Tariq is airing Sax out. And not only does Tariq air Sax out, he airs McLean out too, because he's like, and I'm to believe that you weren't in it alone. And everybody looks at McLean, and meanwhile Tamika's sitting back there like, checkmate, bitch. Like, it was so, I know I don't normally, I'm sorry, I don't normally curse in my videos like that, but this episode, it was so good. That court scene was everything that I've been waiting for Sax. Sax has been operating so illegally for 52 seasons. like, come on. So, of course, they all get called back into chambers. And while the judge is in there reprimanding them, in walks Screech. And Screech is just like, you know what? I'm shutting all this down. Move. All right. This is what's going to happen. Sax, you clearly aren't doing your job right. McLean, you are unethical. McLean is always out for Tasha's best interest, and he ends up getting a deal made for her. So we're back in the courtroom. The deal is that Tasha will walk away scot-free. All she has to do is testify that Tommy was the leader of the organization, and he was the one that pulled the trigger on Ghost. If she does that, she will be in WITSEC. Tasha says, I want WITSEC for my whole family. Nah, we can't get WITSEC for your whole family. We can get WITSEC for you and your daughter. Tariq is out here on his own. We can't do nothing for your mama. Tasha doesn't want to take the deal. Tariq prods her and tells her, go ahead and take the deal. I'm going to be okay. So Tasha agrees. So now we see her leaving the courtroom looking good. I was confused because I was like, that's not what she got arrested in. What we saw what she got arrested in was in the bag. I'm just saying. And as she's leaving, the officer was like harassing her. Like, I'll see you again. I had to walk you out. I don't know what the issue was with the officer. It was kind of that same energy that Charlie Murphy was giving Ghost a few seasons ago. Like, you just want to mess with them just to mess with them. But anyway, she leaves out, and she has a whole bunch of paparazzi there, and McLean gives her a statement to say. She does not say the statement. She just thanks everyone for coming out, and she wants to get back to being a good mom. McLean goes ahead and plays up the, Black Lives Matter type of angle. Tasha looks disgusted. Then we see her talking to Tariq and her, talking to her family. Of course, she tells her mom, thank you, how much she loved them. She talks to Tariq. She says, I'm going to run. Pack up your stuff. You need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice because we're getting up out of here. Tariq's like, are you sure about this? She's like, just trust me. At school, after the trial, we see the annoying niece, meeting up with Braylon, and she's trying to warn Braylon that Tariq is not the person that he thinks he is. He will do anything to protect himself, even though she was over here, even though she was, started off doing this for her uncle. She really did love Brayden. She still loves Brayden, and Brayden was cold-blooded. Cause she don't know she messing with a drug dealer. She don't know. And you can't be trusted. You a snitch. Move along. So Tariq gets back to his dorm room, and Zeke visits him. Zeke looks very scared. First of all, Zeke's face this whole scene was hilarious. I'm going to see if I can drop some of the memes in the video because they had me dying laughing at the memes of Zeke's face. But basically, he's just trying to warn Tariq to watch his back because things are getting hot. The police are getting closer into finding out everything that happened, and Zeke is just like, I told you to stay away from my aunt, and now things are blowing up here at my school. But Tariq is like, don't worry about it. I can handle myself. I can handle it. So after meeting with Zeke, Tariq decides to meet with Dee to kind of figure out what's going on the family's end. And while meeting with Dee, he finds out that Ramirez is dead. Dee doesn't necessarily come out and say it, but she basically says Kane is out of control. I don't want to have to spell it out for you. And this says a lot because, again, this is the person that was there to help them. And Kane took him out. But Tariq lays on the charm and says that he's going to be there for her. He'll always be there for her. He's proved himself before. And, Tariq is a little charming bastard. Like, I'm sorry. He is. He just be all up in their heads. And of course, she's like, okay. So back at campus, Tariq and Brayden ran into each other, and Brayden lets him know what the nosy niece was saying. And he just says, at the end of the day, maybe she wasn't as bad as we thought she was. I mean, it's not like Sachs had her living with us. She was pretty much living with us. But at the end of the day, they're not going to let it fly. All Brayden wants to know is, are they going to keep the business going? And Tariq is kind of confused if he wants to or not. And he says that even if he gets out of the game because he doesn't need the money for his mom anymore, Brayden can continue to run it. And Brayden's like really wanted to keep Tariq in the business. Brayden feels like this is the first time he's made money. This is the first time he's been good at something, and he doesn't want to give it up. He is out here for the dollar bill and for the notoriety of it. What he doesn't realize is how much extra goes into being a drug dealer. Like, he hasn't had to deal with Monet. He hasn't had to deal with, the killings and the shootings. And although Tariq says you can still run the business with the Tejadas without me, let's just be real about it. The Tejadas don't know Brayden, and they're not going to trust this random rich white boy to move their product. So Tariq is kind of stuck in the family. So they decide to table it and that they would go ahead and talk about it later because Tariq has to go and meet Jungle Jim at the office. Once they get to the office, Jujubee lays it out on the table. He says he knows what's going on. He knows that Tariq is dealing drugs. He knows that Drew had something to do with the killing at the pool. All he wants is for them to team up so that he can write his latest novel. He will pay Tariq a portion of the advance. Tariq, you're a good kid. You're just in a bad situation. And Tariq is just like, well, can I say no? And Jabari goes on to talk about how the police are getting close onto their heels. They're zeroing in. It's kind of now or never. Tariq says, well, let me think about it. And then in walks Detective Alfonso. So Jumanji goes ahead and give him his number. It's like, we'll talk about that assignment later. Across town, Tasha meets with Monet at the bar, and she's basically asking for Tariq's freedom. She wants to run. She wants Tariq to run with her. She says that she understands that Tariq owes money to Monet. However, she'll pay that. She'll pay whatever the price is to get him free from being with the family, but she needs her son with her. And that was a very interesting conversation, because we're seeing two mothers in two different states. Because you're seeing Tasha represents the mother who knows that she has a drug dealing son, but she does not want this life for him. Meanwhile, we have Monet, who is very much so wanting her children to remain in the family. And they both have flawed their children in different ways. And we see that when Monet says, this is the way that you raised Tariq. He wants to be in the game. He sought me out. And Tasha rebuts with, well, your son tried to kill my son, so that's how you raised him. And you can see that made Monet think, like, maybe I do have some flaws in how I was raising my child. At the end of the day, they are both moms who care about their kids, but in two different ways. And while they're kind of trying to go back and forth and deciding this freedom, a shootout happens. And Monet's guy ends up dying, and she's shooting back. And as everything kind of dies out, Tasha runs to the window, and she sees an old school car pull off. And we all know who that is. So Tasha runs to the campus, runs to Tariq's room. She's like, you need to pack your stuff up. We need to leave now. Tommy just tried to shoot at me. He just tried to kill me. We don't have any time for this. Tariq is being somewhat calm and cool and collected. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, if Tommy's here, there's only a few places that he can be. There's only a few spots that he can be. Mom, just give me a second. We can't leave right now. We don't have the money. We're not ready. And she's like, all right, I'm going to trust you. But you don't know who you're dealing with. Tommy is a killer. And Tariq says, Mom, I'm a killer. The look in Tasha's face, realizing that that young innocent boy that she wants to have no longer exists. He became a killer when Ghost fell off of that balcony. And he ain't turned back. Tasha, you're not running it no more. This is a whole grown, drug dealing, killing man now. And it's at that moment that she realizes it. So Monet goes to meet with what's the daddy's name? With Mr. Tejada. I don't remember the daddy's name, but she goes to meet with him, and she basically is saying that things are getting hot out here in the streets. And so he's saying that she needs to get Kane back on the team. She needs muscle out on the streets. She can't do it by herself. He didn't want to kill Rico to begin with. That was the decision that she made. And since she made that decision, she needs to do what she needs to do to get Kane back into the family. Monet is not really here for it. And while they're talking, she's like, I need Ramirez to handle it. Have you heard from him? And Tejada's like, no, I haven't heard from him. Why are you so worried about him? It's not about him. And during that exchange, Monet realizes that Kane's probably the one who took Ramirez out. So she goes over to his little trap house to confront him. He's in there clapping cheeks. She busts in, the girl runs out, and she confronts him. She says she blames herself for making him the way that he is, and that she can't trust him. And he says, I was more of a family than Ramirez ever was. She said, was? Past tense? She realizes that y'all out here on your own. Y'all are out here on their own. She says, you know what, Kane, you're stupid. Because Kane doesn't think. He doesn't think. And she leaves, and of course, because Kane's whole thing is, oh, you should never brought Tariq in. You should never brought Tariq in. So now the hurt goes over his face, and then the hurt is quickly replaced with anger. And we already know who he has anger for. Cut across town, we see Tariq texting Jabari, letting him know that, you know what, I'm in. and he sees the blue old school car and he waits on it. He's out here waiting on Tommy. Tommy just visited Chase just to check on him, make sure he's okay, because remember, Chase's mom is gone now, and Tommy does still feel, he loved him some Lakeisha. So they have an exchange. Tommy's like, you know what? I promised your dad that I wouldn't put a bullet in you, but I sure beat your skinny butt. I'm trying not to cuss. I sure beat it. Get off of my car. And so they're having an exchange. Tariq is like, Tommy, you can't kill my mom. I had to take care of my dad and all this kind of stuff. And basically, Tommy ain't here for it, okay? Tommy's like, he wants all the smoke. Tommy wants all the smoke. He's going to get rid of Tasha. He owes Tasha 2 bullets. One for snitching on him and one for killing Lakeisha. Tariq is like, listen, I got a plan that's going to work for all of us. So Tommy, listen, while this conversation happening, we cut over to Sax finally getting laid. We ain't seen Sax with a woman the entire doggone season, nothing besides his blow up doll. He's finally getting laid, but you know what? He can't even do that right, because he ends up getting a text from McLean saying that Tommy's mom's car has been reported as stolen. Tommy is back in town. So of course that jumps up, because he has to be super save a hole, even though you are going to lose your job in the morning. The next day, we see Tasha running errands. She's got her little hair out the beauty supply store. While she was on the phone with Tariq, she said this better work or something like that. So she gets back in the car, and who is in her back seat? No one but Sax. This is a sting operation to take Tommy down, or so they believe. So we end up, Tasha is concerned about all of this happening, or at least she's plain concerned. And Sax puts a bug in her ear that, at the end of the day, is her child, Yasmin, he calls him Jasmine, but Yasmin, is she ready to be in witness protection? Is she about that life? And it really does make Tasha think. So now we see Tommy. We see Egan. Clear? Yes. Da-da-da. All right, move. So Tasha begins to move. Egan follows. Next thing you know, we're in a high-speed chase. Everybody is moving. Tasha's going this way. He got all these extra people coming in to swarm in on Tommy. He makes a left and a right and another left. And the next thing you know, he runs into something. His car blows up. Oh, no, car blows up. Then, Sax, he needs to see the body. He's trying to get to the body. But before he can get to the body, a big explosion. And then we see Tasha sent off a text. Now, who believed that Tommy was dead? If you've been watching Power, you didn't believe Tommy was dead. You already knew what was happening here. But, I digress. Tommy's dead. Jamiroquai meets up with Tariq to give him the money for this book. And while he's meeting with Tariq is trying to leave. He keeps trying to ask questions. Tariq is trying to leave. Then Kane comes up and shoots. He ends up missing Tariq and shooting Jungle Jim. Now Jungle Jim is laying on the floor, bleeding out. And Tariq is like, Kane, you're not even thinking. You're not even thinking straight. You already killed Ramirez. How you know I killed Ramirez? You're using his gun, you idiot. You're using his gun. Listen. If you do this, you're really going to be out, because there is no connect. Your protection is gone. I'm the only person that's moving product for the family. So if you kill me, now the Tejada family is dead in these streets. They have no one working for them. They have no plan. I got a plan. Give me the gun. I'll take care of all of this. But what you're doing is stupid. And Kane takes a moment to think for the first time since we met him. And he decides to go ahead and give Tariq the gun. And he goes away. Tariq is like, go somewhere where there are a lot of people, where a lot of people can see you. Tariq is standing there over Jack B. Nimble's body, and he's pleading for his life. You're a good kid. You're just in a bad spot. You don't have to do this. I won't tell anybody. You don't have to write the novel. And Tariq gives this moving monologue. I tell you. He gives this moving monologue. Tells him, why did you have to go snooping? Why did you have to follow me? You don't know me. I killed my own daddy to protect my mama. You don't know me. It always comes down to me, my family, and a gun. lets off 3 shots in the Joker's head. Meanwhile, Kane was watching to make sure that everything got ended, because, you know, at the end of the day, Kane can't trust Tariq. But after seeing that Tariq had to handle his business right then and there, Kane now has respect for Tariq. Finally. Because why did you hate him this much? Across town, we see Carrie still getting it in with Zeke. Well, before she gets it in with Zeke, she reads the last email she'll ever get from Jujubee. It said something about I was wrong, or you were wrong, or something. I don't remember what the message was. But at the end of the day, he dead now. And she's still over here sleeping with this little dumb little boy. And she gonna be dead next season. Keep on playing. We go back to the office. Sax is cleaning out his workstation. He's done. Okay? Screech said, you're out of here. McLean walks in and basically offers him a job. Like, you know what? You know how this office runs. You know where the dead bodies are buried. Come work with me. I'll give you, you know, a lot of money. So now we see that they are teaming up. Now, what kind of hodgepodge match is this going to be? I don't know. Why would you trust him? I don't know, because Sax messes up everything that he is a part of. I don't want him on my team. When will Sax die? When? Anybody? When will he go to jail? Something. Tariq calling Tommy, and of course, like I said, we knew Tommy wasn't dead. Tommy said, you know, he got rid of his back molars to make sure that it seemed like he was really dead. Tariq is like, well, you don't have to worry about anything. Tommy lies and says that he's already on 95. He's finna get off the turnpike. He's finna be gone. We already knew what he was finna do. So Tariq goes and meets up. Before Tariq goes and meets with his mom, he makes the calls. Then he goes and meets with his mom at the gravesite. Tasha is, you know, speaking to Raina, letting her know that it will be a while before she sees her in person again. Tariq comes. Mommy is laying in the back. He's finna kill Tasha right then and there. But what happens? Just as Tariq is saying, I can't go with you. You know, where's Jasmine? And Tasha lets it be known that Jasmine is not built like they are built. She can't go in the WITSEC. You know, she can't run like them. The FBI comes up, and now she realizes that she's going into WITSEC because Tariq set it up that way. She's like, well, no, why did you do that? He's like, I'm just trying to do what's best for you. And at the end of the day, what's best for Tasha is to be in federal custody, because Tommy ain't gonna stop. She realizes that, you know what, this is the man that I raised you to be. She gives him the hug, and this scene, these are my heartstrings, y'all. Tugged on it. It was so good. It was so good just to see the emotion in Tasha. Naturi did that. I loved it. So after she leaves, Tommy comes up from the dark, and he grabs Tariq and was like, why did you do that? I should have shot her when I had the chance and all this. And he's threatening him, I'm going to be on her. It don't matter. She can go far. She can go as far as she want. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to shoot her. Tariq says, I know. That's why I sent her with them. And while he's threatening him, gun, back of the head. Monet is right there. Monet is out there being cold-blooded. Tommy's like, who would dare pull a gun on me? Who would dare have the balls to pull a gun on me? She said, I don't need balls, bitch. I just need some steel and an upper hand. Oh, come on, Monet. Takes Tommy's gun. And it's in this moment, Tommy realizes that at the end of the day, Tariq is his daddy's son. Period. Tariq is his daddy's son. Tariq says that, you know, maybe if they meet again, he'll be worthy of his daddy's name. Ghost. Tommy says, we ain't never gonna meet again. Up pulls Drew and D. He's like, man, this is really some ghost-ish. You know? This is really like, at the end of the day, Tariq is his daddy's son. And Tommy realizes it. And you can tell that he respects it, but he despises it all at the same time. So he walks away. And they're standing over St. Patrick's grave. And Monet says, you really did kill your dad. And Tariq says, ghost never dies. I enjoyed it. I enjoy this new iteration of Power. Y'all tell me what y'all think down below. I am here. I am here for it. I could not stand Tariq in the beginning, but he is definitely his daddy's son, and it makes you like him now. It's just like a really very much so love-hate relationship. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the description box. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Hit the like and the notification bell, and I will see y'all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.